Hey guys, we're back out here with the Hobie 16. We just finished putting on the trampoline and taking her out for a sail, so as promised, now it's time to do some pretty major structural repairs. So today we're going to be mapping out delaminations on the hull where the core has separated from the outside layers of fiberglass. So it's going to be pretty intensive, but the first part is mapping out the delamination so that way we know where we're going to need to repair. So really don't need much to do this. The main things you're going to need are some feelers. And then we're also going to use a marker of some sort. This is just a dry erase marker, so that way if I need to, I can erase it and get more accurate lines and everything, but you can also use permanent marker. It's really no big deal. I'm personally going to be sanding everything down anyways because it's going to need a new gel coat eventually. And then the other thing is a quarter. Just a normal coin. A little bit bigger is going to be better, but this is going to help us really pinpoint the dead spots and accurately map out the delaminations. So I've already kind of taken a look at some of the holes. At first I thought the entire holes were just completely bad, but I kind of refined the process for the core and the large volume. So we'll run you through that process. So the first thing that you do whenever you're trying to look for delamination is you find an area that you know is good. That's going to be kind of your reference point. So looking at the edges where the top of the hole is bonded to the bottom of the hole, we know, unless you can see any visual signs of cracking, that this is going to be pretty solid. But this is also completely fiberglass, so it's going to have a significantly different pitch than, say, the fiberglass in the core. But we can start on this side and work our way forward. And really, you're not listening for a change in pitch per se, but a rapid change in pitch. So if it's properly bonded, we'll have a high pitch. And if it's delaminated, it'll sound almost dead. So we'll move from an area that we know is good and move towards an area that we suspect could be bad. Now you can kind of feel around to know areas that may potentially be bad. So this is the aft of the hole on the right hand side, and if I press on it, it's probably kind of hard for you guys to hear, but I can hear a little bit of that foam core inside compressing. So it almost sounds like if you take foam and compress it, that sound. So I know there's some sort of delamination in this area, but for me it's a matter of where. So I'm going to take this coin, tap it from an area that we know is good, and wait till I hear a pretty significant change in pitch. So here's my area. I'm going to go ahead and mark. It doesn't need to be super accurate, but we can tap on one side of it. It's pretty high pitched, and if we tap on the other side, it's a lot lower in pitch. So we're going to do, we've got one side, we're going to bound our 4 sides and then work our way in. So coming from the outboard, going in, and then going from the inboard out. And then going from the aft forward. And so now that we have our forward sides bounded, we can start coming in from the corners as well. So once again, at this aft side, we can hear the pitch change. And what that's telling you is, hey, this area is good, this area is potentially bad. And we'll verify it whenever we do our drilling. So when we map out our drilling locations, we'll start at the center and work our way out. If we notice there's areas that aren't delaminated, then we just won't continue drilling past that. And now's the easy part. It's a game of connect the dots. 1 goes to 2, goes to 3, to 4, to 5, to 6, to 7, to 8. So now that we've mapped it out, that's our delamination. So on the outside and on the inside, we have a pretty significant pitch change. Plus, if I press down in the center, there's significant amount of give compared to if I press down back here. So that's how we map a delamination, and I'll go ahead and run through the rest of them. So the coin tap method works as a form of non-destructive inspection, NDI, due to acoustics. So in an area like an edge that is perfectly laminated, the act of enacting a force onto this edge sends waves through the part, which we hear as sound. So the sound waves travel through the part, and if the part's solid, we get that nice high-pitched sound. But in an area like this, the sound waves aren't as much traveling through the part as they are traveling kind of along the part. Because we have that delamination there, it's hard for those sound waves to travel through a piece of glass, then air, then core, then a piece of glass again, and into the other volume. Whereas here, there is no air. The sound waves travel directly through. So this is how we map the delaminations. I'm gonna go ahead and map out the rest of both the holes. So we'll see you after that, and we'll go ahead and review all of the different delamination areas that I have and if I have any additional comments on them. So we just got finished mapping out the delaminations. Let's go ahead and take a look at them. It's not looking too hot, so let's just get into it. So as far as the right-hand side, pretty much all of the forward is delaminated. All of the center is delaminated, and a little spot at the back. So that's not good to begin with. Then on the outboard side of the right hole, we have a pretty big pocket at the back. We have a pretty good sized pocket at the center, right behind the forward transom, or the forward pylon. And then there's an area right there that I want to test, but all of the forward seems to be good. I just want to test a couple areas. Let's go ahead and head to the inboard on the right side. So the inboard on the right side, there's a spot here. a spot here that needs to be tested. And then pretty much all of the inboard right hole is bad. That's not gonna be fun. Inboard left-hand side, we have a big pocket at the front and a small little area right behind the forward pylon. And then this area right next to the aft pylon. For the left-hand side, upper and outboard, we have a small little pocket on top and a nice little pocket on the side. And then kind of the same thing, we have a pretty good delamination pocket in the center, but nowhere near as big as the right-hand side. And then 2 additional smaller delaminations on the outboard of the left-hand side. I can't really tell if there is a delamination on this forward left hole, so I am gonna just do a test drill here. So as you can see, it's not ideal. The left one is not bad, that's perfectly fine. But on the right-hand side, that's enough of a delamination that I might consider actually getting a different hole if I can find one. So not the greatest outcome from mapping all of these delaminations, but that's kind of what you can expect with a 40-year-old boat. So there's not much else to do on this front other than laying out the hole patterns on the top surfaces and then going ahead and starting to take apart the boat. The coin tap test is very much tribal knowledge, but for something like this where we're just mapping out a pretty simple delamination, it's the perfect thing because all it costs is 25 cents. So as promised, this is an area that has a pretty significant difference in sound between areas that are good and areas that aren't. And we can actually see up top here, there's quite a bit of spider cracking. So I'll have to take a closer look whenever we actually repair this area. But on the lower side of the hole where it's good, we have a nice high-pitched tapping sound. Now, inside of the delamination, we have a really low pitch There's a pretty exaggerated difference. Hopefully you guys can hear it. And hopefully this helps you guys map out your delaminations.